one of the things every witch needs in Hexerei is a crow. So how do we tame crows, and how do we use the crows? Well, I'm going to get a spawn egg and imagine that the crow is in front of me that I'm going to tame. The first thing you want are seed mixture. So, of course, you will need a pestle and mortar for this. The pestle and mortar is made in the mixing cauldron, as shown. So let's get that made. So you will need one of each seed: wheat, pumpkin, beetroot, melon, and sage. You just right-click them all into the pestle and mortar, and it'll automatically start grinding it up. You can right-click to take back out of them, but not once the recipe is complete. As in all the ingredients in there. It'll just automatically start. Right-click and take out your seed mixture. Now, I'm just going to kill this one so we can start from fresh. Oh, good. How awful. So here is this crow. What you can do is simply go up with your seed mixture and right-click the crow. However, you have a better chance of taming them if you just throw it on the floor. Evidently, if you kill them, they will come back as well. So it's picked up the seed. Look, how lovely. And, oh dear, we haven't tamed it. So we're going to have to make another one. I'm going to make a stack of these. Throw another one on the floor. So it's not guaranteed, but you do have a higher chance if you throw them on the floor versus right-clicking. But I'm just going to keep right-clicking. There we go. And when you see love hearts, you finally have tamed the crow. You can tame many crows and get an army of crows if you want. So I can right-click the crow to set it to wander, to set it to help gathering, to follow, and to sit. And I can shift right-click to go into the GUI of the crow. There's two shelves you can open on the right and the left. One is attack toggle to let the crow attack things or not. It's toggled at the moment on. When it's grayed out, it's off. This crow will attack when attacked, or the owner is attacked or attacks. So if something attacks me, the crow will defend me. And this is the range at which it will do so. On the right, we have the harvest whitelist. When toggled, the owner can right-click on crow harvestable blocks to add to the whitelist. If the crow's whitelist is not empty, it will only harvest blocks from its whitelist. So if we turn the whitelist on, and I put in here, there we go. So can you see that above my action bar, it shows the whitelist mode is on. There's a little crow icon. And can you see that you can see a little cube above the crow? It shows us what crow we are doing this with. If I shift right click on the crow again and turn that off, that disappears. So shift right click on the crow, enable the whitelist, and then I right click wheat. And now when I go in here, you can see that it will harvest only wheat crops. It's really, really awesome, this mod. It's so well made. And I can just turn that off, and it'll now only harvest wheat when set to help with gathering. So in here, we can add weapons, hats, and miscellaneous items to our crows. And we have the help and gather section. So help, you can sit in here to follow, to sit. If they have a perch, they will fly to it and sit there. I'll explain perches shortly. They can be set to wander, and they can be set to help. When you set help, it will then do one of these three things over here. So you have to enable help and then enable the one you want. Gather, harvest, or pickpocket. Yes, it will pickpocket villagers. If it's a farmer villager, it will pickpocket food. Blacksmiths, maybe ingots, etc. Or maybe emeralds. It really does work like that. Harvest. Crows set to harvest will harvest any nearby crop and replant it. If they have a perch, they will stay within the area. Gather, they will pick up items matching any item inside a coffer nearby with the crow button toggled on and return those items to the designated coffer. So as you can see here, the crow has harvested and replanted the wheat, but maybe maybe we want another crow to come along and then gather the items like here. So this item here is a coffer. A coffer is made in the mixing cauldron as shown. And I can place the coffer down by shift right clicking it. And you can also just open it in your inventory as well, so it can be used on the move. So what we can see here in this coffer is we can say crow gather. This is going to enable or disable crows to gather items matching the inventory. So when I say yes to crow gather, I then have an extra option on the right. I could say whitelist and inventory. The crows will gather and put in items in here that are in the inventory already and are on the whitelist. Whitelist only, it will only gather and put things in that are in the whitelist. It doesn't care what's already in the inventory, just the whitelist. Or you can say blacklist and inventory. So it'll be items that are in the inventory but not on this list. etc. So we can change how the crows are going to interact. So I'm going to put black, white list and inventory, meaning there's no string in here, but it is on the white list, so it will collect string, and it will also collect wheat and seeds because that is also in the inventory. We can also set perches. To do so, we're going to need a flute, a crow flute. I think it's made in the mixing cauldron. Oh no, it's just made with some mahogany planks. The crow flute. And what we could do here is we can shift right click and we can say, do we want the flute to say to the crows to follow, to sit, to wander, or to help, and then gather, harvest, and pickpocket. What it will do is it means that any nearby crows will do this. So if I say sit and I just right click with the flute, oh no, I need to tame them. Crow selected, crow selected. Sorry, I misexplained that. If you want nearby crows to sit, then select sit, right click, and nearby crows will sit. If they go on your shoulder, just shift or crouch to get them off. So I just right click to say sit, shift and right click to go into the GUI, and I click follow, I come out, I right click, 2 crows set to follow. So how do we choose which crows we want? Shift right click, and then you press select. So that's what I accidentally had toggled when I said I'd explained it wrong. The select button is now in select mode for your crows. So I can deselect and select these 2 crows. You can see I've selected them by the blue thing above their head. And then I shift right click again and deselect the select. And what that means is it's only going to be those 2 crows that I'm telling to follow or do whatever. If there are other crows in the area, they won't listen. If you've deselected all your crows, then it will just do any nearby crows. I can also shift right click and say perch. And then what I could do is I could shift, or is it just right click? Just right click on this coffer. And now the 2 crows that I had selected will now perch on the coffer. So when I go shift right click, I deselect perch. And then when I shift right click and say sit, and right click to say crows to sit, they're going to go and sit wherever their perch is. I'm just going to go into the Book of Shadows quickly to explain something. Hopefully this is all making sense. So the coffer is great for crows. You can dye them, as you can see. When punched, a placed coffer will be picked up into your inventory, keeping the item's name and colours. On the right side is the GUI of a crow on it, which I've explained. Crows with a perch located on a coffer will pick up any item in the area and return it to that coffer. So in order for them to take it to the coffer, you do need to set the perch, as I just showed. There is also herb jars. A herb jar is really cool in the fact that I can place it down and I can click on it here and it shows herb jar. I can put in string. Can I put in string? I don't think you can put in everything, actually. I can tell it to crow gather, so you can put in Hexerei ingredients like maybe a seed mixture, and it can store up to 1,024 items, but only 1 item. So evidently, it's only certain items like ingredients, etc., from Hexerei. And what I can do is say crow gather enabled allows crows to gather items matching this block's inventory. They will gather items matching it and return them here if toggled. Crows will not pick up items matching the block and return them here if not toggled. They can gather to multiple locations at once. If a crow's perch location is this block, that crow will gather any item in the area and return it. So you can also set the perch as the jar, and crows will be running around for you. It tells you what's on here. Look, isn't that lovely? Seed mixture here. And that is also their favourite treat, as a little FYI. So because these 2 crows are perched on that coffer, they're ignoring the seeds. They don't care. They're only really worried about that coffer. If I get my flute out, however, shift right click, select, and I've deselected that one, so I'm only talking to this crow now. Shift right click, perch, and gather. Oh no, sorry, perch. And I right click on the jar. It's now perch location there. Shift right click, gather. Oh no, not wander. Shift right click, help, gather. Failed to place a perch position. Oh my god, I get so confused. There we go. So I right click the perch location and then I right click the crow. Because if you see it's perch, help, gather. And now, as you can see, it's picking up the seeds. And if I just throw some more on the ground, that crow is now going to pick up those seeds. In regards to the crow's inventories, I just shift right click on the crow. The miscellaneous item, you can actually use this as a storage slot. Like I could shove some wheat seeds in here if I really wish. Hats, witch's hat. You could put a little witch's hat on there, gives it some armor, etc. Isn't that very cute? And then you can add weapons in here, like a netherite sword, and the crow will actually be able to attack with it. But I believe you could also use it as a storage slot if you wish as well. So if this crow is on to follow, it is a few extra little storage slots that you are able to use. And that is everything we need to know about taming and using crows, along with herb jars, coffers, and pestle and mortars, of course. I hope that tutorial was useful for you. Again, do click the link in the description if you'd like your own server for 10% off at Gportal. I really do mean it. They are the absolute best. When it comes to servers, I'm actually quite blown away by how good their servers are. And you can also join my Patreon in the description to, one, support the channel, and secondly, to join the Patreon server, which I now stream on, where you can ask me any questions and request mods, etc. You can also comment down below for any mods that you would like. I do check all the comments on this channel, and I'd love to hear which mods you want to see covered next. I do have some shelves here, tech mods, magic mods, utility, and standalone mods here as well. Utility and standalone mods means it's not in a playlist, it's just a video on its own for the whole mod, for example. But please do subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and again, let me know your comments down below.